So I always love meeting new people and shaking their hand and learning sort of where they are in their careers, who they are, where they're from. It's a really good way to meet people and be practiced at sort of retaining that information. And the more you do it and the more people you meet, it's almost like the better you are at meeting the next person. And in a sales job, that's like so important, is to be able to meet somebody really important, possibly really intimidating, and just be their friend within like 10 minutes. It's a skill. So finding the right people, so finding those people and becoming their friends can be kind of difficult. And you'll meet a lot of people along the way that might not be the person that you want to get to, but are very, very influential in getting you to meet that person. So it's never count anybody out, always meet everybody. You know that thing in semi-pro, everybody love everybody? I don't know how many of you have seen that movie. Judging by your faces, not many. Moving on. So know yourself. Obviously, there is a lot of time to sort of figure out who you are, what your talents are, what you're good at. And you'll find out along the way as well, like, you know, I held reptiles for a while and went, you know what, I'm pretty good at this. I can do this. I can show kids and keep them entertained. So, you know, you kind of learn a lot about yourself on the road to your careers, and even in your careers, you keep learning. So it's really, really good to know yourself and have a sense of who you are. So when you go and you meet people and ask for jobs and do things like call up the largest ad agencies, you know, in the world and say, hey, how's it going? I heard that your kid had a birthday. That they're not like, you know, because trust me, it happens. It's heartbreaking. So using social media is good as well because, you know, there's a lot to be said for getting up off your couch and going and actually meeting the people. But if the people have seen you on like Twitter chiming in on whatever they're talking about, it usually helps them to sort of not be so immediately defensive. And do your homework. Obviously, for me, I wouldn't go out and try and get a job at Mattel selling Barbies. So Mattel might be a really great company, but do your homework and find out where those jobs are, what brands that those jobs are actually for, because you could be a really right fit for this job, but selling something that you just don't care about. Not that I don't care about Barbies, but. So mixing your passion with your talents is definitely how I got to my job. So through shooting some stuff for a 3D scanner startup company, I met my boss at an office warming party. So that's literally how I got my job. Was, like I said, I'll meet everybody in a space in, you know, half an hour. And I met her. We got to talking about how I was there shooting some stuff and was I looking for representation? No, I'm not that good of a photographer. However, I am looking for a marketing job. And she sort of said, oh, well, we're looking for a marketing coordinator position. I was like, when's my interview? And the rest is history. So embrace being out of your league. I had this lunch with her over there as well as another Humber student. I'm not sure if she's here. But we had this like conversation about, you know, she was looking for, you know, an internship at a really, really big advertising agency called Ogilvy and Mather. If any of you have ever had Gary, I guarantee that name sounds familiar. So that's like, it was such an inspiring conversation to me because it was like, you know, being out of your league is probably like the best thing for progression. Because if you're not comfortable, it means that you've taken a step forward and you're actually in a place where you can grow into that space that you've just stepped. So if you're ever out of your league and you feel like, holy crap, that means that you've done something right and that you're a step ahead, unless you're holding a gigantic snake in front of a bunch of kids. Then it might not be the best step. Anyway, so belonging is easy if you belong. So essentially what I got out of that conversation was like, if you really care about what you're doing and mixing it with who you are, it's easy to feel like you've made the right choice. Like in my job, it took my biggest passion in life of photography and took my new biggest passion and new talents that I learned here at Humber and brought them together to a point where, I don't think they could have picked anybody else for the job. Again, tooting my own horn. Woo! So they couldn't have picked anybody else better because they were looking for a photographer that wanted to be a marketer. And it's exactly what I am. So I got to hand it to Humber because they got me there.